So divorce and homeowners, you got a lot of questions and I understand it. And in this video, we're going to talk about homeowners insurance and property taxes and how are they handled during a divorce. So if you own a home and if you have a mortgage on it, that mortgage is going to have to be paid. And so are the property taxes and homeowners insurance. And if you live in a HOA, the HOA as well. So even if you are the one that decides to move out or your spouse does, somehow all of these things still need to be paid. Now, a lot of people have what they call an escrow holdback. So when you make your mortgage payment, your taxes and your homeowner's insurance are automatically paid. So if that's your situation, that's wonderful. But sometimes those things are not paid through escrow and they're paid separately. So we do need to make sure that those things are taken care of. In general, these are ongoing expenses that are going to need to be paid until the ownership of the home has been transferred. So either you sell the home to someone else, or maybe your spouse buys out the home, or maybe you buy out the home. So once the ownership is transferred, then whoever it's transferred to, they're responsible. But up until then, both you and your spouse are responsible for making sure that these payments still get paid. So who pays them and who's responsible for paying them? Well, a lot of times that's an agreement that you make between you and your spouse. Sometimes if the spouse is the higher earner, or maybe you're the higher earner, then they decide that whoever is the higher earner is going to continue to make all the payments on the home until the divorce has been finalized. Sometimes it's an agreement that's made between the attorneys, or sometimes if you can't come to some sort of agreement, then you might have to go to court and then the judge will decide who's responsible for making those payments. It's always best if you and your spouse can agree on who's going to make them, and you need to be able to trust that the other person, if they've said that they're going to do it, is actually making those payments. Because there's a lot of consequences in not making those payments. Number one, if you don't make your homeowner's payment and gosh forbid something happens to your home, maybe there's a fire or a flood or something like that, even if you've had homeowner's insurance for 20 years, if it's lapsed because of lack of payment, guess what? You're not going to be able to file a claim, and any damage that's done to the home is going to be totally your responsibility. Now, when it comes to property taxes, if those aren't paid, then the government can file a lien against your home. And if they go unpaid for an extended period of time, they have like what's called a tax sale. So someone can actually purchase your home and pay off the late taxes, and then all of a sudden they have ownership interest in your home. The same thing with the HOA, sorry. It doesn't happen too often, but if HOA fees go unpaid for extended periods of time, the homeowners association can, number one, file a lien against the property for the back fees, and meanwhile they keep filing late fees and interest and then attorney's fees, and all those fees can really add up. And if it goes on for a really long time, the homeowner's insurance can also file and be able to take over the property just by paying the homeowners association fees off. But you don't want any of these situations to happen to you. So you absolutely need to make sure that in addition to your mortgage, the homeowners association fees are paid, the homeowners insurance is paid, and your property taxes are paid. Well, as I've mentioned before, every divorce case is different. And what happens to you might be totally different than maybe what happened to your friend or your neighbor. What the judge decided for them might be totally different for you. So my advice is always to seek professional help when it comes to a divorce. Someone that can look at your situation and be able to tell you what's in your best interest, both in the short term and the long term. I see this all the time where someone has made a decision because they think it's the right choice at that time. And then a couple of years later, all of a sudden they find out that there's a lot of tax liability that they didn't understand that they were going to have, or maybe there's some huge, repairs that need to be done on the home that they hadn't taken into consideration. So don't let that be you. Let's get you the help that you need now. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to introduce you to the people that you need so that you can make a good financial decision for you and your family. Well, thanks again for listening. I do release new videos weekly. So if you hit that bell icon, you'll get notified as soon as I upload a new video. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button too. That way you'll see all the new videos. Oh, and one more thing. Could you go ahead and hit that like button? Because what that'll do is it'll help other people find this video. And that way, hopefully, they'll get the answers to the questions that they have in their divorce situation.